The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight.
Don't get yourself in trouble by declaring it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
More trouble for Obamacare. An investigative watchdog group goes undercover to talk to some navigators in training. It's not pretty. We'll have an exclusive report.
What is Obamacare?
I'm not sure.
And how much do the folks know about Obamacare? Jesse Waters will tell us.
The website hasn't gone that well. What do you think happened?
The government's in charge of it.
I'm embarrassed by my actions. But what I want people to know is the way Jonathan and the rest of the offensive line and how our teammates, how we communicate, it's vulgar.
The National Football League continues to take a huge hit over conduct unbecoming among some players. We'll have a follow-up tonight.
Caution, you are about to enter the no-spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The obsession with Obamacare, that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Plenty of criticism floating around over the new affordable health care law, and much of the anger flowing into the White House as President Obama's approval ratings continue to drop fast. Whole thing began on March 23, 2010, more than 3.5 years ago. At the White House, Vice President Joe Biden congratulating President Obama on his signature achievement.
Tens of millions of Americans will be a whole lot healthier from this moment on. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
And it was, for the first time in American history, the feds calling the shots on health care. The Obama administration had 3.5 years to launch the law, more than enough time. It also spent $1 billion on the launch, more than enough money. Yet the entire thing is a catastrophe so far, and no one has been held responsible for that catastrophe. So that's where we are this evening. It is safe to say that most Americans do not trust the new health care law, nor do they trust President Obama to implement it properly. Enter the conservative Project Veritas group, Veritas meaning truth. It sent an undercover person to the National Urban League offices in Dallas and Irving, Texas. The Urban League is receiving more than $1 million taxpayer dollars to guide people into the Obamacare system. Some of that money is being used to hire so-called navigators, so when you call up, they can help you. The Project Veritas undercover talked to a few of these navigators in training. First, about what to state as income.
The other stuff I do is like barber, or I'll go and clean houses and things like that, just to get extra money on the side. But I never filed that type of stuff on my file my taxes.
So you're supposed to file a percentage of it.
A percent.
Yeah, when you're making money on a cash basis.
Okay.
Don't get yourself in trouble by declaring it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yuck, huh? So that navigator in training suggesting fraud. On another occasion, the Project Veritas undercover asked about smoking.
Oh, one more question. They have, I don't know where it said something about if you smoke or something like that. But I really don't smoke. I may
lie because your premiums will be higher.
You lie. So this time the navigator is suggesting deceit. Fraud and deceit. Sounds like a great federal program. Going forward, the president should delay the Affordable Health Care Act for a year. In that time, the computers could be fixed and responsible people, hired to guide Americans through the new health care maze. I'm a simple man, as you know. If this is a good program, the folks are going to know it. So there's no threat to the Affordable Health Care Act with a delay. None. In fact, the program should be stronger a year from now. Right, Mr. President? Let's delay it. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Reaction joining us from Washington, Mary Catherine Ham and Juan Williams, both are Fox News analysts. So Juan, how about these navigators, huh?
Well, I just think that's an outrage, Bill. But again, it seems to me like we got a haters ball going on here. I think everybody is just like, oh, let's find anything we can spec on Obamacare. And now these folks have come up with some people I guess they're independents or whatever. They don't necessarily work for the government. They work for the contractor. But there's no evidence of any widespread fraud here. Senator Rubio has introduced a bill, though, I must tell you, in the Senate that would say you can't hire felons, you can't hire people who are convicts. Kathleen Sebelius at HHS has said it's possible. It's not a federal requirement. The states can have the requirement. So I think that everybody's on board. We don't want any corruption. But so far, there's no corruption. All we have is everybody who doesn't like it, who really wants to, kind of subvert Obamacare, jumping on anything they can find.
Juan, we just showed you corruption.
I said, oh, come on. That's so small, Bill. Come on.
It's so small. I don't know if we have time to go to every single, Navigator deal they have. But go ahead, Mary Catherine.
Well, the haters ball for Obamacare has always been populated by more than half of the United States. So I'm happy to be there. It's not super fun because a lot of people are losing their insurance. So it's not a lot of dancing. It's actually a lot of sadness. But these are serious issues. In the Navigator program specifically, right before the thing launched, they cut down the number of hours that these guys had to be trained. There is no requirement that they have a criminal background check, so you're giving all this information to people you don't know. So I think in any giant system, fraud can creep in. In this system, fraud was invited over for a keg party, and you've got, on many layers, really some serious dangers.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, Mary Catherine, about the Obamacare legislation. It's a very specific question. There are some good things in this. In the bill, some good things. Number one, if you're working and you have health insurance that follows you, that's a good. You think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I think perhaps one of the only good things is we would like to sever the connection between employment, healthcare, and so that you don't lose it every time you move.
Yeah,
I don't think that is a bad goal.
And
I think
plus,
we're going
it gives
around it the wrong way.
an employer an inordinate amount of power over the employee. And you just don't want that kind of a system. Secondly,
well, I think we're going about changing that in a terrible way.
The concept of pre-existing conditions, if you get ill, the insurance company doesn't re you up, because they're paying too many bills. So we chuck this guy off the rolls because he's got cancer or heart disease or whatever. I don't think that's right. I think there should be a law against that. Do you agree, Mary Catherine?
Yeah, I think that's wrong as well, and I think these are tweaks that could have been made and changes that could have been made without blowing up the individual insurance market.
They could have been done by individual legislation, and if the health insurance companies want to be in that business, they have to obey those laws.
And Bill, like I said last week, the supporters of Obamacare can point out the three things that people like about Obamacare all they want, but the problem is when you're blowing up entire sections of the insurance market to get to those fixes, then you're hurting people actively. We have more people losing insurance right now than they have signing up.
It's more than that. Now, Juan, here's what I think it is with you and your crew.
Thank you.
Here's what I think it is.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of poor people in this country, 20, 30 million people. And they're poor for a reason. Substance abuse is a reason, lack of intelligence, laziness, poor planning, having 3 babies before you're 20 with no father, and all of that. So there's always a reason why people are poor in America. There's always a reason. Right. You and your crew, Juan, say, you know what, we don't really care what the reason is that they're poor. Everyone has a right, a constitutional right, to free health care if they can't afford it. They have to be given it. They have to have it. Isn't that the crux of your philosophy on this? And therefore you're willing to overlook all the chaos because that essential good, in your opinion, overrides everything.
Well, first of all, let me just say, a lot of the poor, and I know you like to, just put me in some crew, but I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the poor, Bill, are elderly people and children in this country, and they're not there because they're drunks or they're lazy layabouts.
That's a fair point, particularly with the children.
Yeah,
fair
okay,
point.
I'm just being straight with you. I know you want to throw me in with some group so you can somehow push me, marginalize me, but I'm just telling you the truth, Bill. And the second thing to say here is, yes, I believe that in America we should make sure that the current healthcare system is fixed so that we don't bankrupt families when they have a serious illness, so that small businesses
but all of that, as Mary Catherine and I agreed, we could do that by individual legislation. But the overall philosophy is you want to give health care to those who don't have it. Give it to him.
Absolutely. And let me
Okay.
just say, if you were sincere, and if Mary Kaplan were sincere, instead of just bumming on Obamacare and joining the haters' ball, you would say, let's have a fix-it bill, Republicans. Let's fix this thing so it works for all Americans. Let's be pragmatic. Let's be sensible.
Listen,
let's stop the political games.
I would support that debate. And you
good man.
But get,
Also,
get
Republicans,
the feds
Republicans
out of
offered
it.
the
Don't let
Republicans
them
offered
run
the
it.
"if you like your plan, you can keep it" bill a year ago, and Democrats all voted
right, I
against
gotta
it.
go.
There were things that could have been anticipated and fixed that we mentioned and were
I
called liars.
America,
That's why we're at the haters' ball.
I gotta
See ya.
go. All right, Juan, just say hello to your crew for me, please.
Oh, stop. Look at you.
Next on the
you're
rundown.
incorrigible.
How much do the folks really know about Obamacare? Jesse Waters went out to ask them. Later, some conservative Americans say Chris Christie is a rhino, not because of his weight, because of his political philosophy. Those reports moments away.